So welcome everyone to this special edition of the Create, Engage, Succeed show with your host, Mary, and my special guest, Jennie Bellinger and the cat. And so
this is Minnie.
Hello, Minnie.
Newest addition to our family.
She is adorable. So I know that you're not tuning in to listen to me gush about Jennie's cat. However, those of you that know me know that I am the crazy cat lady with 4 of my own. So whenever I see a feline, I have to acknowledge them. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, we are here today to talk to Jennie. And Jennie is a direct sales coach. She had a very successful career in the direct sales field. And so many people were coming to her asking for her help to train their teams. She decided that she wanted to do that as her full-time career. And she has done a heck of a job. Just to give you a hint of how good Jennie has become at direct sales coaching, a couple of months ago, she hosted the Badass Direct Sales Summit, and she had the Jack Canfield as her keynote speaker. So anybody who can get Jack Canfield to keynote at her event gets my complete, whoa, kudos, recognition, shout out, whatever, because that is quite a feat. So without further ado, Jennie is just back from a wonderful vacation and she is looking well rested and full of energy. Jennie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the conversation, which is why sales is not a 4-letter word.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. What a sweet introduction, Mary. I so appreciate that and appreciate you and having me here on your show. I'm so excited to be here. As for me, I am a mom to 2 kiddos, 8 and 12 years old. As you mentioned in my introduction, I have a history of 7 years in direct sales. During my 7 years in direct sales with my one company, I earned 9 trips, multiple car bonuses, cash bonuses with commas in them, jewelry prizes, like basically anything that, when you look at what are the metrics for success in direct sales, I check all the boxes. I had a team that was working. I was making really great money. And one of the things that I saw happening around me, because I remember being in one of those, back when we can actually meet in groups,
yes.
being in one of those large hotel, ballrooms or whatever, where we were having one of our local rallies. I was about 5.5 years into the business. And I remember looking around the room and seeing and recognizing only 4 of us had been in that same room 5 years before at our very first rally. So there was this huge amount of turnover and it really just broke my heart. And so I started wondering, okay, what is it that I'm doing that these other 3 ladies are doing that makes us different? Right. And I started having conversations and talking to people who were struggling and finding out what they're struggling with in their business, and started realizing that those of us who were succeeding had different things going on in our head, had different things going on in our verbiage, had different things going on in our behaviors that were actually helping us to be more successful than those who had access to the exact same process, the exact same system within our business, and the same product. So in theory, we should all be successful, right? Because we all have access to the same thing. But it's all in how we do it a little bit differently, and how we think about it, how we speak about it, and how we act around our business that helps us be successful.
I love it. I love it. So before we kind of go into some of the detail, what was your favorite trip?
Oh, Paris. 100%, hands down. Paris was my favorite trip, because that was a bucket list item for me. I literally, from the time, for as long as I could remember growing up, even as a little girl, my goal in life was get married, have kids, go to Paris in that order.
Okay. That's pretty impressive.
So I got married, I had kids, and I went to Paris.
Well done.
And I didn't have to pay for any of it. It was amazing. And it's so much more fun when you're going on someone else's dime, right?
Exactly. Yes. Winning a trip or earning a trip is always better than having to pay your own way. So,
oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
with that
It's more
being said,
exciting.
yeah, and it's just, especially if you're competitive, it gives you something to work towards. And with that being said, I've been in my share of direct sales companies and have always aspired to earn a trip and generally never got there. Part of it was excuses that I told myself, like, I have a full-time job, I have this, I have that. Part of it was not knowing what to do. And a lot of it was I didn't want to feel salesy and ask my circles to buy something from me. And so I know we're talking about sales is not a 4-letter word. To me, sales was definitely a 4-letter word. So using my experience as an example, how would you have coached me? How would you have helped me overcome that so I could have earned one of those trips?
Well, it all starts with the mindset shift, right? Because how we think about it affects how we speak about it, affects how we act around it. And so I always work with my clients on making sure they shift their mindset around number one, the word sales, and secondly, about the process when it comes to sales. So the first piece of that, the word, it helps if you know the history of the word, which who thought that they were going to get on Facebook and learn the history of a word today? Well, you're going to learn it today. So the history, the word sales comes from Old Germanic English, which the word is sala, S-A-L-A, and it means to transfer.
Oh,
that's it. It just means to transfer. So you have something that I want. I have something you want, right? So in this case, let's, can you give me an example of one of the products that you worked with in the past?
Sure. So one of the products I worked with was educational toys.
Okay. So educational toys. So you have educational toys. I have kids. I have kids that I want to be educated. I also have money, right? And you've got the toys. I've got the money. What do you say we just transfer?
That is a wonderful way to look at it.
Right. First thing is just to understand it's just a transfer, right? It's an energetic transfer of you have something that I want. I want my kids to be playing with these awesome educational toys, right?
Okay.
You have the toys, I have money. You want the money. So let's transfer. Right.
I like that. It reminds me of an old beer commercial when I was a kid. You've got the time, I've got the beer, but now it's you've got the money, I've got the toys.
Exactly. And gosh, that's so funny because I work with a lot of pure romance reps. So my brain went to a whole other went to a whole other place with that.
That's okay.
So the second part of that is understanding the sales process, right? So a lot of people don't want to be pushy. Right. And that's exactly what you said. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to ask my friends and family to buy my stuff.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. When you think about sales as a process, as solving a problem, and that you are a professional who is helping people solve their problems, you approach that conversation very, very differently. And so then that makes it feel less salesy. It's what can I do for you? How can I help serve you? How can what I have to offer you solve a problem that you have?
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Right? So don't think of it as pushy. Think of it as professional, because professionals follow up. Professionals ask for the sale. They say, so when would you like to get this educational toy for your child? Right? That's how easy it is to close a sale.
As opposed to
when would you like to get it?
As opposed to my way, which is like, oh, okay, so you really don't want to buy. Okay, that's good. Go talk to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, and again, it matters who you're talking to, right? So if you're talking to someone who doesn't have kids, it doesn't mean that they aren't a potential client, because they may have grandkids, nieces and nephews. They may have a coworker who brings their kid in. And so they just like to have a nice little fun toy on their desk.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in finding how you can solve whatever that problem may be.
I like that. Right? So this would apply no matter what product you have. So like you had mentioned, pure romance, it could be freeze-dried foods, essential oils, jewelry, cookwares.
Oh yeah. But what you want to focus on is understanding, what problem am I solving?
Okay.
Right. it's keeping kids entertained, or, in the case of the pure romance, it's enhancing your relationship, whether it's your relationship with yourself or with your partner. It's for the skincare piece. It's not just, great skincare. It's fine lines and wrinkles, acne issues. Get specific, right?
Okay.
Get very specific and understand what people's issues are around your product. So if you're an essential oils person, find the people who what got you into essential oils, right? So let's say, for example, it's someone who had sleep issues. They were having trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. They were an insomniac. And all of a sudden they start using these oils and they start being able to get to sleep and stay asleep better. So what you do, you don't go out and try and sell all the oils to all the people, because you're going to sell a whole lot of bupkis, right? Nothing's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
But if you go find the people who have insomnia, just like you did, you can share your story and your passion around what it has done for you, how it's changed your life. I can sleep again. I have more energy because I am actually getting to sleep at a normal time. I'm staying asleep longer. I'm hitting REM sleep. I'm having dreams again. Whatever it may be, know what that problem is and be specific. Don't walk around and say, I can solve all the things. I can promise you, if you ask for everything and everyone, you will get no one, because the brain just doesn't work like that.
And that's kind of scary sometimes, because it's like, but if I focus on just one thing, there's not going to be enough of an audience. And yet what I've learned, even in my current business, is focus on one thing. That doesn't mean you can't solve someone else's problem, but you become known as the go-to person. Like, I know if I have friends that need help with direct sales, the first person I think of when it comes to sales is Jennie. When it comes to social media, there's Megan.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't work with two people. You can't buy products from more than one person, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and here's the key too. When it comes to this being specific and that fear of missing out, right? I'm afraid if I get specific, I'm not going to reach someone. Just know that it's so much easier to get your foot in the door with one thing and then branch out from there with people. So you start with insomnia. So I'll use myself as an example with essential oils. I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Woo woo, crazy people. Like, seriously, my scientific brain was like, that's a load of bull honky, right?
Uh-huh.
I did not believe in the essential oils thing. And then I had a migraine. And I could not get rid of the pain, the nausea, the light sensitivity, all the things were going on. And it was one of my very first migraines, and I had no idea what was going on. One of my friends is an oils expert, and she gave me just a drop of frankincense. Within 10 minutes, most of my symptoms were gone. An hour later, another drop, everything was gone. And
wow.
I was like, hallelujah, I'm converted. I am believing in the church of the frankincense oil for migraines, right? That was her in with me,
mm-hmm.
right? The one thing. And so anytime I talk to people who are having a migraine, if I get a message from somebody asking for a reschedule because they have a migraine, I'm like, do you frankincense oil? Because that stuff's the bomb. Thebomb.com. It will get rid of your stuff. I promise you. Right. But once you have that in, then all of a sudden I was able to have the conversation with her about other stuff going, okay, so now that I actually believe this stuff works.
Right.
Right. What else can we do? And so now even my kids, my 8-year-old puts her diffuser on every night to help her get into a calm state, and she goes to sleep better. We can tell the nights she doesn't use her diffuser because she gets out of bed 700 times to go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, pet the cats, say goodnight
mm-hmm.
to the cats, all the things, right? So you want to find out one thing that you are absolutely passionate about and get in the door with that, right? Wouldn't you rather get in the door with 10 people about migraines, about relationship issues, with whatever it may be, depending on your product?
Burned eggs. I don't know,
exactly.
With cookware.
Yeah, exactly. Finding that one way in. Wouldn't you like to find 10 people who get in with you on that one thing and then be able to branch out versus trying to sell to everyone all that thought exhausts me. It really does. I mean, even in my own business, yes, I'm a network marketing coach, which everyone goes, oh my gosh, that is super niche down. I'm like, oh no, it gets even better. I work primarily with Rodan and Fields, Pure Romance, Arbonne, Neora, like they're doTERRA essential oils. There are companies that I work better with because I have so much experience with those companies. I know their comp plans. I know all of their promotions, like how do they reach the next level? I know exactly how to help my clients do that. And people are like, how can you niche down that? How do you work? And I'm like, because they all refer me to other people, because when they earn the trip, get the promotion, have a team that's working and making them money, then they refer me. They go, oh, it's because of my coach.
Exactly. And that's really helpful. And so 2 questions about sales, and then I want to circle back around to having a coach. So the next question I have about sales, and again, using myself as an example, I set goals for myself. It is now the 27th of the month. I have not hit my goals. I'm trying to level up to the next rank or whatever. And so I spend the next 4 days bombarding all of my friends on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram going, I want to promote, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. How come I can't do that? I mean, how come I'm not having success?
Well, because honestly, in the world of personalities, there's only about 18 to 22% of people in your life who will buy from you just to help you.
Okay.
Right. So for those of you who are familiar with the DISC personality, if you're in that situation, you want to be reaching out to the people who would literally give you the shirt off their back. Right. Though, if you're going to do that methodology. Now, do I recommend it? No. What I recommend for people is get your promotion by the 15th of the month.
Okay.
Do what it takes to get the promotion by the 15th of the month. That way, all the rest of the month, you can continue to run your business, but that whole bombardment of people, for that reason, it's all about you. And that's why those things often don't work, because 75% of people or more, that's not their thing. They're not a high S. They're not a steady supporter. They're not that kind of person who wants to help you. Right. Those, that would be why if you reach out to 100 people, about 18 of them might buy something, but they're probably only going to buy this tiny little thing, because all you're focused on is the sale. You're not focused on servicing them, because you're sending out 100 messages over the course of 4 days to try and hit that extra $300 that you need in order to hit your promotion or whatever it may be. So, in order to avoid having to do that, you want to set your goal to hit your goal earlier in the month.
Okay.
Right. Because then it gives you a buffer time, because most people give themselves the deadline, I'm going to do it by the end of the month. Well, then guess what happens? You and everyone else, I'm saying that again, are bombarding everybody trying to get people to buy their stuff at the end of the month.
Right. And I see that a lot, and I was guilty of it as well. And
I did it too. Yeah.
The occasional, I'm a little bit more lenient on, but the ones that really like, I'm just going to hide your stuff, is when it's every single month. Cause I'm like, okay, we all have a bad month.
Yeah.
Kids get sick, the animal has to go to the vet, whatever. But if it's every single month, then I'm starting to wonder, why you're really serious about your business. Yeah. Because I know with my own consulting company, our business, we don't wait till the end of the month to start reaching out to customers to say, hey, will you buy this package from us? Because I'm not hitting my revenue goals. It's like, it's building a relationship over time.
Yeah.
And then if I do get into a bind, I can reach out to certain customers and say, hey, do you have any projects that, maybe we're putting off till Q4 that we could start on in Q3? But it's not like I'm desperate. And I think that desperation is what comes through.
Oh, absolutely. Because when you're desperate, you make it all about you. Help me hit my promotion. My in the sentence twice, right? Whereas I am looking to help 10 insomniacs improve their sleep in the next week.
I like that.
those
I've
are
got to.
two different conversations. Cause then people go, oh my God, my husband's an insomniac. Can you help him? But my mom is having trouble sleeping. My mother-in-law, they may not be the one who needs you, but they know the insomniacs in their life and they may refer you. And that conversation are two very different conversations. It's about the other person rather than about you. And the people who don't like sales are the people who every time they put the wording out, they're making it about them, what they get out of the sales conversation. When instead, if you completely focus on the other person and focus on fixing their problems. Now, here's the thing. You and I have a coach in common, right, Virginia?
Right.
And one of the things that I've learned from working with her for over 3 years now is me as a sales coach. Since starting working with her, I have a 100% sales closing rate.
Wow.
Every conversation I have, I sell. Now, here's the thing. Only about 30 to 50% of the time am I selling myself.
Good to know.
Because if somebody's top of mind problem isn't what I solve, I put them in touch with the person who can solve their problem, right? I want them to fix that top of mind problem so that eventually they go, ooh, well, Jenny's helped me fix this problem and this problem and this problem. Maybe she can help me with my sales. Maybe she can help me grow my team. Maybe she can help me with my leadership. So I finally hit that promotion I've been trying to get for the last 6 months, but I keep missing by just this much, right? But I'm going to help them solve their other top of mind problems first and introduce them to my referral partners.
That is so powerful. And I think for many of us, whether we're in direct sales or another business, we've been taught that if we don't get the sale ourselves, then it was a worthless sales conversation versus, as we're learning from Virginia, if I don't have the right solution, and I do this more and more frequently with my business too, it's like, oh no, I don't do that, but let me put you in touch with so-and-so because he's a real wizard at this.
Right.
Or she can help you with that. I just love it. I wish we should have another conversation with that for folks because I know we're running close on the end of time. I did get an off-the-wall question for someone, which is, does Jack Canfield serve chicken soup meals in his seminars?
I don't know the answer to that. I haven't been to one of his seminars yet. I've done some of his virtual ones, but yeah, I don't know about the chicken soup thing, but that would be really amusing if he did.
It really would, but I just had to share that. So I know that the whole focus was on sales, and there's so much more that we could talk about with sales in terms of techniques and tips and things like that. But I also want to just briefly talk about coaching. And especially when I'm starting out in direct sales, or maybe I'm in that in-between level where I've got a small team. I really want to grow a team. I want to make direct sales my career, but I'm looking at my paycheck going, okay, I'm still in that 4-figure realm. Why do I need a coach? What benefits come from working with a coach? And then more importantly, if somebody wanted to reach out and learn more about possibly working with you, even if they're not in one of those companies that you mentioned, how would they get in touch with you?
Great question. So I'm going to start with the overarching why coaching, right?
Okay.
Because we know statistically from Harvard Business School, they've done a lot of research on the benefits of coaching. And what they have found is that, especially in the world of sales coaching, people who work with a sales coach have an 88% increase in their sales over the lifetime of working with the coach.
Wow.
Right. So the first few months, it's anywhere from 17 to 25% increase. And then the longer they work with them, the larger the increase gets.
Oh, that's
right.
Interesting.
All the way up to 88%.
Wow.
So imagine if you could increase your sales by 88%. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Now, me personally as a coach, I know historically with my clients, I have a history of 3Xing their sales in 90 days. So increase of 30%, or sorry, 300%, 300, not 88, 300% in 90 days. That's what my clients experience in working with me in the first 90 days.
Wow.
So yeah, it's because I'm just helping them tweak those things that would make them just a little bit better, helping them tweak their mindset, helping them tweak their motivation, their verbiage, their leadership skills, their actions.
So putting this in the perspective of, let's say, we'll go back to the toy business that I was in.
Sure.
In order to promote, and again, I'm making this up because this was several years ago and they almost went defunct and now they're back. So let's say that as a just a consultant without a team, I hit $500 a month in sales, and that got me to my first promotion level.
Sure.
To get to the next level, I need to have one person on my team and $1,500 a month in sales. So what you're saying is, because you have that 3X, I could do that within 90 days work. I mean, theoretically, that would help me get to that number.
Oh, easily. And not only that, my clients also grow their teams very quickly as well. I've had multiple clients who within their first 90 days of working with me are growing their personal downline team by 10 in a month.
Wow.
10 people to their team in a month, because I help them figure out what's holding them back from having that business conversation, how to have the business conversation, and how to get their people started and onboarded in a way that they feel supported and they stick around and they actually work.
Wow. One last question before we talk about how they can reach you, because I know we're out of time. One of the things that I often hear from people, and again, I was guilty of this as well, the market is saturated. I can't sell anything. I can't add to my team. There's 5 other people doing the same company in my neighborhood. No one wants to buy from me. Is that a mindset?
It is 100% a mindset. Part of the issue is the fact that many people who are in direct sales, they go and they find as many other people who are in that same company because they want to follow them. And then psychologically, all of a sudden, all you see in your social media feeds are these other people. And then your brain goes, oh, there's too much of this. Right. And especially coming from a place of not understanding how abundance works, they believe that there's not enough. And it's like, seriously, there's 395 million people in the United States. And you think there's not enough for each and every one of you to have enough customers to have an amazingly fabulous business? You're crazy.
Well, as I was saying, many of these companies are global. So it's not just the United States. That I could build an organization around the world if I really wanted to.
Absolutely. And that's an option too. And especially now with everything being virtual and companies having to go virtual and change the way that they ship and sell and do everything like that, you are no longer limited to the boundaries of your state. You are no longer limited to the boundaries of the United States. So, I just use the United States as an example because most of the people who are watching this are probably in the US, right? So,
actually, 2 of the 3 that are currently alive are Canadian.
Nice. Well, there you go. Well, I don't know the population of Canada, but it's in the multi-millions, right? How many of you can handle 395 million clients? You can't. There's got to be enough out there for everybody. So it's really taking a look at your mindset and belief system around saturation, because saturation, I'm sorry, people, it's BS. It's something that other companies use, especially companies that have these ground floor opportunities. They use that as a fear tactic to say, well, your company's saturated. It's been around for 60 something years and it's saturated. No, it's not. Because there are still people who have never heard of certain companies and they've been around for literally decades.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, and I just think about looking through my house. What I have, it's like, oh, that's from that. Because Ken's daughters have even said, like, Dad, does Mary ever shop at a normal store? And I'm just like, not if I can avoid it. But, when you look at everything that I have, it's like a lot of it is from direct sales people. And again, you primarily work with direct sales moms, correct?
Yeah, that's just because it's a majority of who's in the business.
Right. But I mean,
yeah, I mean, seriously, it's 74% of direct sales people at any given time are women. So it just happens out of, necessity that the majority of the people who are available for me to work with are women. And certainly in Pure Romance, there are no men. Except for the CEO. There are no men in that company. And so, and the CEO, I interviewed him on my podcast and he goes, yeah, I started out as COO, child of owner.
Okay.
So that's how he became the CEO of Pure Romance. His mom started the company. So yeah, but it just happens to be that a majority of my clients are moms, because that's why I got into the business. I got into the business so I could provide for my family, be home for my kids, and not be working my 45, 50 hour a week teaching job.
Okay.
I wanted to be home with my kids. And
That's
so
great.
it worked for me.
I love it. So I know we're just about out of time. Actually, we're a couple minutes over, and I want to honor our commitments.
Sure.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to work with you? And I have a feeling, because I messed up, there's going to be a lot of women and men watching the replay, because I had my times off by 30 minutes.
That's okay. That's okay. Not to worry at all. Luckily here on Zoom, I can't see who's watching and who's not watching. So
Okay.
I'm going to give the same value, whether people are watching or not. So, one of the great ways to reach out to me is, actually through my mobile business card. So if you are in the United States, all you have to do is just text badass, all one word, BADASS, badass, to 55312. And you'll have access to my phone number. So you can text me or call me. You have access to my email, my website, my podcast. You can listen directly from my mobile business card. So that is, again, badass at 55312. And you can also connect to me through Facebook on there as well. All of my social things are on there as well. So that's just the easiest thing.
Oh, that makes it so easy. And I just put it in the comments for folks. So when they're catching the replay or watching live, they've got that there.
Awesome.
Any last words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Oh, gosh, it's so many. If sales is something that you really, really struggle with, and it's something that you want to get better at, you want to have a conversation, I do offer a complimentary coaching session where I can talk with you and help you get past some of that initial resistance to sales, whether it's sales of a product or sales of the business opportunity, because the business opportunity is a sales conversation, which is why people avoid it, because it's even bigger and scarier than selling a bottle of essential oils.
Okay.
Because then you actually have to do something afterwards, like, that's going to be work if I have to bring someone on. I'm going to have to be a leader or something.
Gotta have a system.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to do something. So that's why a lot of people actually avoid that conversation psychologically. They don't recognize that, but I do.
Interesting. Good to know.
So yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with people. And again, through my mobile business card, they can go ahead and set up that complimentary coaching session right inside of that, directly from their phone. So they have access to my calendar and they can pick a day and time that works for them.
And one of the things that you're modeling is you're making it easy for me as a prospective customer, because I just have to text one word to one number.
Yep.
And you make it easy for me. And I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's great. So thank you so much. For those of you that are tuning in, again, we've got Jennie Bellinger, the Badass Direct Sales Coach, amongst other things. You can also find Jennie on her podcast, if you want to just give us that title, and then we will wrap up.
Absolutely. Badass Direct Sales Mastery, BDSM. I am the direct sales dom who helps women whip their business into shape.
I love that tagline. So listen to the podcast, watch the replay, reach out to Jennie. Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. And I am so excited that you were able to join us. So thank you. Bye, everyone.